Welcome to Depth of Field, an independent filmmaking podcast hosted by Dr. Mike White and Shelby Hagerden, independent filmmakers and industry professionals. Episodes will touch on recent films, the state of the industry, the regional scene in Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota, the occasional gear discussion, and interviews. Stay up to date with our current episodes on Spotify and YouTube.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Depth of Field podcast for the week of June 2nd, 2024. I can't believe it's June. I know, it's craziness. We've got a lot of exciting things going on in the Depth of Field podcast this week, including highlights from the Cannes Film Festival, which wrapped up a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Also, we have an interview with Tad Good about the Snake Alley Film Festival in Burlington that's coming up. We're really excited. Tad's a super great guy. We're really happy to have him on the show. Also, we have a big announcement. So, yeah, I know it's big. Okay, so we're going to have that. But let's go ahead and talk about the Cannes Film Festival. We're not going to talk about all of the stuff that happened because, I mean, that could take forever. But I do want to talk about at least 2 or 3 films that really were standouts for us. In this as well. So, Shelby, what's the first one?
Well, obviously we weren't able to be present at the Cannes Film Festival, but we have 3 films we want to talk about specifically. So, starting with Anora by Sean Baker. So, this film won the Palme d'Or, which is the greatest prize you can win at Cannes. So, it follows Anora, a sex worker from Brooklyn, who gets her chance at a Cinderella story when she meets and marries the son of a Russian oligarch. Once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as the parents set out for New York to get the marriage annulled.
And Sean Baker is a very known quantity. He's famous for a few different films, including, I believe it's the Florida Project, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And then also, he is a graduate of the very prestigious NYU film program, the Tisch program in New York. Very, very famous program for people who don't know. Spike Lee teaches there. Tamara Jenkins teaches there. There are several really fantastic professors in that program.
Great program.
This film was really the standout, not just for us, but I mean, this picture was also talked about by, oh my gosh, IndieWire loved this film. I could go through all of the different magazines, but everybody just loved it.
And beyond
Screen
that,
Rant.
too, I mean, you had the jury was able to speak on it, and Greta Gerwig went on about how much this film impacted her. So I'm very excited to see it. Hopefully, I think this summer.
And it's been quite some time since an American had won. I think it was 2011.
2011 with The Tree of Life by Terrence Malick.
Oh, thank you. Shelby did that research. I just remembered that. Okay, awesome.
And also, this is really interesting, and I'm very excited about this. This is Neon's 5th consecutive win.
Okay, so we need to talk about that.
Good for Neon.
I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and I know we went through this big phase kind of post-Me Too, when we started to see the big rise of A24. A24, of course, has gone through a few changes. They had somebody recently leave A24, but right now it's all about Neon. Neon, for me, is the big indie distribution company right now. They are the kings right now, at least in my mind. I don't know. What do you feel about that?
I think so, too. I think A24 is going through a transitional period. Well, one thing that A24 has is A24 has A24 vibes, right? It's got a really, really good grip on pop culture. And even though, obviously, A24 is, they're a distribution company, and they've done, some stuff they've funded themselves, but they've got a really, really particular look. And I'm wondering if that's going to hurt or harm them, if that will pigeonhole them in some of the films that they're actually able to promote. But the thing is that Neon's doing right now is they've positioned themselves, I think, very well to not just, we're, an indie distributor. We're a really, really high quality award-winning indie distributor that is making very smart moves.
Well, and I think something that's really interesting is, Shelby, you just mentioned the A24 vibes, is that after Harvey Weinstein, there was this thing about, A24 was able to fill a very specific void, and then for a while there, it was like people who really didn't know independent film
Yeah.
were saying, "Oh, well, it's got A24 vibes." It was very weird because you were
It just had the vibe of an independent
yeah,
film,
and they
but-
just it was kind of a sign, and I know this is going to probably sound a little condescending, but it was a thing when if somebody said, "Well, it's got A24 vibes," that was usually kind of a flag to people who really knew film that that this is someone who's aspiring to like
Yeah.
independent, which I'm all about.
which is great. And that's something too that A24 was really good at, was getting people, and are still good at that. It was getting new people, I think, into independent cinema.
Yeah.
But I think Neon's more covert about it.
Well, and Neon's got a better international grip
Yeah.
than A24.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see how things shake out with Neon going forward, because I think they're really hot right now.
They're all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all over it. The second film we wanted to talk about was, this is the film that I'm probably most excited about, called Kinds of Kindness. This is by Yorgos Lanthimos, and if you don't know him, he's a Greek filmmaker. He also made...
He made Poor Things
Poor
last year.
Things, yeah, which was a
darling.
fantastic film. And this film, I believe, was co-produced by, what is her name? The same woman, I don't know why, I'm tired right now.
Emily Stone.
Emily Stone, yeah.
Formerly Emma Stone.
Yeah, Emily Stone, formerly Emma Stone. She had actually produced Poor Things. Again, another,
She
another
has her own
huge
studio.
project, yeah. And then, of course, continued with this. She's been involved with some stuff. I mean,
She's killing it.
yeah, from a producing standpoint, the transition. I don't know if she plans to both act and produce, but wow,
she's got a very good eye, because she also did
Problemista,
which that's a fantastic film. But she's doing some really smart things. She's picking strange films that I think a lot of people would be afraid to take risks for and to
films.
promote. But she's going out of her way, I think, to find odd films that she really likes, that she feels drawn to. And it's great for indie filmmakers because they have somebody with a name as big as Emma Stone promoting their work.
And I think what I like about that too is the films that she's signed on to are films that are independent films that probably wouldn't see distribution, but also something is that they see enough commercial success that, of course, they're more than breaking even. They're turning a profit, and I like this because it pushes the boundaries of cinema a little bit.
Well, and Yorgos Lanthimos is obviously he is a known and a very known actor
he's
or director.
He's one of the greatest filmmakers in the world.
But I think having Emma Stone involved in so many of these projects is great for him to be able to get a wider audience, which is very cool.
I completely agree with that. Well, before we go on too far, we'll drop the log line on this.
Yeah.
Kinds of Kindness is a triptych fable following a man without choice who tries to take control of his own life. A policeman who is alarmed that his wife, who was missing at sea, has returned and seems a different person, and a woman determined to find a specific someone with a special ability who is destined to become a prestigious spiritual leader.
And it's 3 short films.
It's 3 short films.
So it's 3 vignetted short films.
3 vignetted short films, all done in the present day. And I love this format. It's kind of the 3 vignettes in a 3-act structure, which is cool.
And I like that we're seeing more of that, because we also saw Wes Anderson's film, The French Dispatch, 2 or 3 years ago, too. I like that we're getting more of this again, because I really appreciate those vignettes.
Well, I think we have audiences now that understand them and appreciate them, and I think that's great.
I also wonder, too, I know this is kind of a different conversation, but I do wonder if maybe this will become a little bit more of a norm just from a younger audience perspective, as to kind of like what is holding their attention, because, we'll start seeing.
I'm really
bite-sized
interested to go back to
stories.
school in the fall and to talk to my film students to see what they love. I mean, I think that's one great thing about being a film professor is you get to see what younger audiences are latching on to and putting their finger on and stuff like that too. And it's always really interesting to get that fresh perspective on things, which is cool. So
I'll also mention, too, for Kinds of Kindness, it did win the award for Best Actor as well.
yeah, who won the award for Best Actor in
I'm
that?
not sure. They have it kind of differently at cons, so sometimes it's like more than one
Oh,
in there.
so it's
But
kind of best
They
acting.
have it listed as Best Actor, so
It's got a really good cast.
yeah, it's got a fantastic cast.
And finally, we've got the Coppola film.
Megalopolis.
Okay, so this is the most split reviewed film we've seen. I'm dying to see it.
Yeah.
One thing I know is they say it's visually breathtaking.
I've heard both. I've heard some people are saying the VFX is bad. Some people are saying it's beautiful. So, from what I've seen, I think it looks very good.
The writer's eye value really have said that
Yeah.
it's breathtaking, and I'm valuing that. I mean, there's a few folks that really said that. And this was a film that was a lifelong passion project of Francis Ford Coppola. Spent a lot of his own money. I don't know how much of that $200 million is his, but that was the case too. It was really concerning that it did not have distribution. It may not have had distribution prior to Cannes.
I don't think it did.
But it does now, and it's going to get distributed, thank God, because that's an awful lot of money for it to not get distributed.
Yep.
It had a really great premiere. I think it had a premiere before Cannes, though. I think it didn't have a New York premiere.
It had a small screening,
but
the official premiere
the
was
festival
Cannes.
premiere was Cannes.
Yeah. But no, I guess what it sounds like is the Coppola, when he walked in, got a 4 minutes.
But it's screened in competition, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He got a 4-minute standing ovation at the beginning when he walked in.
Yeah.
And at the end, he got a 7 minutes.
Well, I mean...
Hey, it's Coppola. And it was also a really interesting thing. So he dedicated afterwards, he did a nice speech, which you can find online. He dedicated the film to hope and family. And at the end of the film, too, he screened a really beautiful
well, he lost his wife.
memorial to Eleanor Coppola as well.
He lost his wife
A couple days before. I mean, it was like nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he lost his wife. I mean, it was just, it's right now they're in the promotion of this film. She was really a major part of the filmmaking process for him.
Which people, I think, tend to forget, but Eleanor was, instrumental. Especially, I mean, if you're going back to Apocalypse Now, so much of that film was her.
Yeah, he had a nervous breakdown making Apocalypse Now. Something I've heard from some of the writers, they say the writing isn't incredibly strong. But in a Coppola film, he's a real visual storyteller, and that's a lot of it. I mean, so for me, that doesn't dissuade me.
I would agree with that. I think, honestly, what I'd like to do is I'd like to watch this film 3 times. Once for entertainment and just enjoying the experience of being in the cinema. A second time for script and story. And a third time for VFX.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, you have a very different background than me. I mean, I think for me, really kind of wanting to look at the film from the standpoint of production and those things are really what I'm looking forward to. That I'm really excited to see this. I know I want to see it with multiple people if I can, to kind of get opinions and stuff on it as well. But I'm not sure if we've got a date. They're looking at a theatrical release, so I'm not sure.
I think it might be this summer later, but
I hope so. I hope so, but I haven't heard anything on that.
I do believe, though, just going back through the films, I think Anora and Kinds of Kindness are both going to be out this summer.
Yeah.
But Megalopolis, I'm not sure.
And that's fantastic. Well, that kind of wraps up our con summary or review, I guess we could say. But we did want to mention we have a big announcement.
Big announcement?
The Depth of Field podcast, in conjunction with Tri-State Film FM, which is Shelby's fantastic group, which is for diverse filmmakers, and then also the Sioux City Filmmakers Club, I believe it's called the Sioux Land
Filmmakers.
Yeah, of which we are members and are very active, are getting together to have our own film festival. And because it's going to mirror some things that we have with the podcast, of course, it's going to be Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota filmmakers only, and people who have ties to those areas. Also, Tri-State Film FM is going to have their own category.
Yes, so
for diverse filmmakers.
Yep, so there will be another category for diverse filmmakers. We'll be giving an award out to one filmmaker who submits a film that celebrates diversity and promotes equity. We're really excited about that.
And something that's going to be very unique about this film festival is it's not just divided into shorts and features. It's divided into genres within those.
Yes.
So if you have a short film and it's a comedy, submit it as a comedy. If you have a short film as a drama, submit it as a drama. So we will actually have lots of awards.
Yep.
So you may be best short comedy. So it's something that that we believe in because we believe in genre theory. So it's something that's going to be part of what we do. That's very exciting.
And it'll be great too for the schedule of things, because you'll be able to go to blocks where films are have a similar genre, and it should be
similar tone,
well organized.
Mm-hmm. Also, we have some workshops. We did a poll online. Many of you who participated in that, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. But we are going to have 3 workshops. Yep. And what are they, Shelby?
The workshops are writing your first feature, which I will be teaching. Mm-hmm. Very excited about that. Your class, which is making your first feature film.
Yep, producing your first feature film. Mm-hmm.
And our third, which Joseph McMahon is teaching, and he runs the Siouxland Filmmakers Club. He is going to be teaching a class on PR, promoting your films.
Yep,
and which is great. He works for KTIV in Sioux City, and it should be really, really fun.
It's going to be fantastic. And you're probably all wondering about the dates and submissions.
Yes.
We are on Film Freeway. If you find us on social media, there is a special private link right now. Yep. But as the website goes up tomorrow, that's going to go ahead and you'll be able to get to the website. And then, of course, there will be a public listing on Film Freeway just shortly. The event is going to be September 13th and 14th in Sioux City, Iowa at the fantastic Lewis and Clark Center. This will be a multi-screen event, so we'll have lots of different screenings that are available as well for that. We are going to have a decision on the films. They will be judged by mid-August, so we can have those as well.
And also, if you go to the website, which will be linked in Film Freeway and then also shared on the Depth of Field podcast Facebook page, if you go in there, you'll be able to purchase tickets. You won't actually be purchasing anything. They're $0, which is great. So free tickets, but you'll also be able to register for the workshops in there as well. So when you go in, get your ticket just so we know that you'll be in there, and then pick which workshops you'd like to be in. If you want to do all 3, awesome.
And we wanted this festival to be very affordable, so there is not a single registration fee that exceeds $35.
Yep.
Also, too, it is free for all attendees who want to come as well, and the workshops are also free. So this is going to be a fantastic event for filmmakers, for to go ahead and commune with other creatives, and to go ahead and work on things and to foster community. It's something that's really important to us for the tri-state area.
And it'll be held at the Lewis and Clark Center in Sioux City. It's really beautiful, right on the river, so should be
gorgeous.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Well, awesome. Well, Shelby, let's move on to our next segment.
Awesome.
Okay, on the next segment of the Depth of Field podcast, we've got Tad Good from the Snake Alley Film Festival in Burlington. Tad, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be on.
Well, thank you so much. This is a great event. Everybody's talking about it. I saw someone today online ask, they said, has anybody ever been to SNAF before? And then I saw this string of replies, and people saying, it's a great film festival. We can't say enough good things about it. So one, we're so happy that this is an Iowa festival and that people attend, and it's historically been such a great event. So first of all, for the listeners, can you just tell us a little, maybe give us a little history about the Snake Alley Film Festival?
Sure. Well, the Capitol Theater, our host theater, was reopened in 2012, and they were sort of seeking out events for their grand opening. And the founder, Lonnie Schuyler, who was a filmmaker, actor, he was like, we need a film festival. He had attended a few festivals here in Iowa and thought it would be a good fit here in Burlington. So he started it up. And from there, I was an attendee the first year, and then second year was a judge and volunteer. And by the 5th year, he had sort of stepped in and said, this is too much for me. Would you want to take over? And that's sort of my history with the festival.
Mm-hmm. And you've ran it ever since.
Yep. I've done it since the 5th, and this will be our 12th year. So I've passed Lonnie's years.
That's a pretty massive undertaking.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what exactly made you get involved in the festival? Like, what made you come into the doors and really want to, made you want to be there?
Well, I actually coincidentally had been working next door to the theater while they were restoring it, and I was constantly pestering them, literally trying to get my foot in the door, because it was dark like 4 or
On the
5
next
days a week.
segment of
They
the
would have
Depth of Field
concerts on
podcast,
weekends. I
we've
knew
got
they had a
Tad
projector.
Good from the
I'm like, why
Snake
aren't you
Alley
guys doing
Film
more movies?
Festival in
Then I found
Burlington.
out they were doing a film festival.
Tad, welcome
So
to the show.
I came in and I remember looking around the room, and in Burlington, it's very rare to not know everybody in the room, or at least somebody in the room. And I didn't know anybody in the room. And that was really weird. I was like, am I supposed to be here? And I remember seeing a really dark, weird drama short. And I had never experienced really short film. I've loved movies forever, but I was like, what is this? This is crazy. And I literally stepped out between film blocks, called some of my friends. You guys got to come check this thing out. This happened at the Capitol. It's really, really wild. They came, they stayed. We saw as many blocks as we could. And like I said, I wanted to be involved. I contacted Lonnie. We ended up working together on an independent film programming. I actually am the head of film programming at the Capitol now, because basically they're like, you can come in and help us do this. And then they're like, nobody else wants to do it. So now it's your job. And that sort of happened with the festival too. Lonnie was like, this thing is not a young man's game. He wanted to start a family. He's like, it's too much work. Would you possibly want to take it over? And I never organized an event, but I thought I would hate for this thing to end. It's so cool. We'll figure it out, and sort of did it, just out of necessity. And that's the history of it, really.
Burlington's a cool town.
Yeah.
We really love visiting Burlington. It's kind of like all the cool old buildings and stuff that are there. And I think, if I remember, you have a really great Italian restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely dynamite. And we lucked out. We didn't have reservations, but somehow the guy took pity on us and we got to eat there.
We had some of the best gnocchi we've ever had in that restaurant.
Dynamite. Yeah, it was great. So if you're in town and they're taking reservations, you might want to make one in advance.
Agreed.
So just wanted to put that out there. So this year, when and where is that? I think you told us where, but when is the festival this year and how many days?
July 11th through the 14th. So starts Thursday afternoon and goes till Sunday early evening at the Capitol.
Can you tell us a little bit about the different genres that somebody can expect? Just walking into the festival, maybe they don't have anything playing, and just, what can they expect coming in? Because I know Snake Alley, there's a few surprises sometimes in that festival, which I really enjoy. So can you tell us a little bit about, what can somebody expect coming into the festival, not knowing anything?
So I always try to tell people, what's really cool about short film is that if you don't like the movie you're watching, a new one will be coming on in 20 minutes, and I can guarantee you that you're going to find at least one film in a film block that you really like, because we do everything from documentaries to drama to horror and animation too. And I find the short film platform just fascinating because you're so limited on what you can tell in the story. So these things are, really compact. They really pack a punch in such a short period of time. It's a challenge for filmmakers. But we also feature short screenplays, which is really fun for people. That's a big surprise for people when they come in and see table reads. We like to celebrate writers and, directors, actors, everybody. We try to make everyone feel like they're a big deal when they're there, because they are, because we try to celebrate filmmakers and creators at a festival. It's about them, and I think if you walk in off the street like I did, I'm always like, if I could just get you in the theater for one block, I'm going to sell it to you, because if you see one block, you'll understand what it's about. We try to do a mix of genres. We do have a few, like our animations are all in one block. We do that Saturday morning, call it Saturday morning cartoons. We have coffee, donuts, cereal for people. And then we've got this sort of cult following on our adults only block. It started as a necessity because we had people complaining about some of the adult content in the horror and comedy films. And now it's sort of become a fan favorite and they look forward to it. So, happy accident, but that's another fun block.
And thanks for paying attention to the programming. I mean, I think something that for us, especially traveling, there's nothing like getting a surprise in a block.
Yeah.
You go and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, this is a little triggering. So we really appreciate the extra attention in the programming. So I think that's a really, really important thing. And also, I love the focus on shorts here. Shelby and I, as the years have gone by, have kind of gone the other way. We've gone to features, but the times we've been at Snake Alley, we've had a wonderful time. Yeah. So again, it was one of those things that we really wanted to make sure that we give you guys the biggest plug that we can. And I think on behalf of both Shelby and I, you're definitely a thumbs up festival for us. So this is a great thing. So, but before we go, I just wanted to go ahead. How can people learn more about the Snake Alley Film Festival and attend or get involved?
We're on all the socials under Snake Alley Festival Film, or on Instagram as SNAF Iowa. You can go to snakealleyfestivalfilm.com or burlingtoncapitaltheater.com. We're gearing up to start going into full promotion mode now that we have our schedule. We've notified the filmmakers. We've got all that stuff taken care of. So now it's like we're full on planning, getting everything ready, getting ready for filmmakers to come visit town. So, keep an eye on our socials and the website. That's where you're going to find all the information.
Tad, we know how tough it is to go ahead and get a festival put together. So we can't tell you how much we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. So everyone, make sure that you try to attend the Snake Alley Film Festival this year. I'm sure it's going to be an absolutely dynamite event. So for everyone, make sure you tune in a couple of weeks for our next episode of Depth of Field. So until then, we can't wait to see you.
Thank you for listening to Depth of Field, and check us out on YouTube and Spotify, where we post new episodes every 2 weeks.